Well, this is not good. This car's not going anywhere. This is not good at all. Today we're working on a 2019 Mercedes AMG GTR. This car base price is about $160,000. It's got a big V8 in it, 4.0 liters, 577 horsepower out of the box. The curb weight is right around 3,600 pounds, so it's not your lightest car out there. A lot of guys buy these things for road use, and they also buy them for track use. This one was purchased for track use, and it's here because it needs new brakes, new rotors, and also a tech inspection for edge addicts. That's coming up in the next week, week and a half. So what we're gonna do is replace the front rotors with gyro discs and also a new set of brake pads. And in the back, we're just gonna pad slap it, do a tech inspection, and send it on its way. Let's get to work. All right, well, let's get right to it. So I already loosened up these wheels, these wheel lugs, before I put it up in the air. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around and we're gonna take all these wheels off the car. We're gonna put brand new gyro discs up front and then pad slap the rear. Last time this car was at the track, I think it only has 2,200 miles at the moment. He completely destroyed these front rotors and pads. It just looks like they weren't cooling well enough. So you can see all the stress cracks on the rotors. And you get all the hot spots here. It's got a nice little lip here too. Take that off nice and easy. We'll set that aside. I mean, he's lucky that these didn't crack and give out on him. Here are our brand new gyro discs. This is the front right for the GTR. And then below it we have our front left. Thank you, gyro discs, for sending those. And here we have the brand new pads. Oh, and everything's just flying everywhere since the fan is on. I guess that's fine too. Nice set of front pads here. Wow, these are heavy, very heavy. If I were to guess, I'd probably say 20-25 pounds. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is pull these pins out, and that'll release this clip and pull that out. And you want to be ever so careful so you don't hit the caliper. Nice and easy. Same thing with the top one here. Okay. We'll take this hardware off. You could just squeeze these in with your fingers, and that'll loosen the pads up a little bit. You're gonna have to take this center bolt out, and then the pads should just slide right out for you there. This bolt here on the back is a 13 millimeter. Just need to tap that out. Now once you have these pins out and this bracket out and then that center bolt, the pads just slide right out. It's nice and easy. These are all the stress cracks here from the heat. You're going to want to remove the brake pad wear sensor from the caliper so you can get that inner pad out as well. That is a inverted E10 Torx. And slide that inner pad out. We're going to remove the caliper and take the security screw out to get the rotor off so we could replace the rotor. That's a T30. I'm going to take the caliper off. You have a hex here and a hex here. Just undo those and the caliper will pull right off. The fastening bolts for the caliper are a hex 10 millimeter. We'll loosen the bottom one, loosen the top one. Peanuts everywhere. And once you get that top hex bolt off, get yourself a bungee cord because you're going to want to hold the caliper up. Don't just leave it suspended by the brake line. You could damage the brake line and could cause issues later on. Surprisingly, these are actually very light, which is nice to work on. Just kind of wrap this around here so it doesn't fall. All right, now you can remove that T30 retainer screw, and then the rotor comes right off. Yeah, these things are in bad shape. You can actually see where the metal was melting right here and it got into the slot. Okay, before mounting your new rotor, you want to make sure that the hub surface is completely clean. You can do this with a wire wheel brush and then just get all this cleaned up. You want to have a flush surface so that when you go to torque the wheels and the disc, everything just kind of sits in place nice and flush. So here we have the new rotor. It seems a little bit heavier than the factory rotor. Maybe by about a pound or two. So when you're ready to reinstall the rotor, you want to put a little bit of Loctite on the retaining screw so it doesn't back out during driving, and it'll keep that screw in place. Usually you don't want to put too much torque on that so you don't snap the head off. Okay, what I'm noticing here, after removing the pads, these seals are actually completely melted. Well, this is not good. This car's not going anywhere. This is not good at all. These seals are completely melted. So if you buy a Mercedes AMG GTR and you want to track this car, you need a set of calipers, a set of discs, and a set of pads every time you go to the track. Yeah, that can be an expensive hobby, for sure.
So now what?
So now, obviously, I mean, we're kind of at a standstill. We're gonna have to order a reseal kit and rebuild these calipers and then put them on. I obviously can't install them like this because it's a safety hazard. And we still have to do a track inspection on this car for the Edge Addicts event that's coming up here in the next week and a half. We're still about 10 days away. So I guess all we can do now is go quote this guy, give him a call, tell him the bad news, and go from there. Till then, I guess you'll just have to watch the second video on the reinstallation of this because I can't do anything right now. What? Not only does this car melt brakes, it also melts the lettering that's on the side of the car. So like, that's funny.